Remember when your biggest life plan was to follow a skate tour across the country with your friends and just, I don't know, see what happens? Same, which you know is a lie. But this week we're diving into Grind 2003, the movie that said responsibility is optional, but kickflips are forever. Welcome to the No More Late Fees podcast. I'm Danielle.
And I'm Jackie, and we're just two best friends and ex-Blockbuster employees rewatching some of the best and worst movies from the late 90s and early 2000s. We're diving into the world of skateboarding with 2003's Grind. Danielle, tell me what a kickflip is.
Okay, so you kick and you flip the board.
Oh, you did. Good. Excellent job.
Y'all will be surprised on this episode how much I know about skateboarding.
I'm proud. You the toe into what culture? But before we dive in, let's get into some housekeeping.
You know, it's not a scary movie. Why did she come out today?
I went more like metalcore.
Oh, okay. I got
This music is all over the place. I will say that.
Housekeeping.
Yeah, exactly.
That's as good as I get.
If you love the podcast and you want to support us, here are a few ways that you can.
Hey guys, we need some reviews, please. It helps more people discover the show and keep the nostalgic movie conversations going. So head to Apple Podcasts and leave us a review. We do want to say thank you to Pierre101818 because they left us a wonderful review titled One of the Best. Great podcast. I love all the memories that come flooding back when listening to this podcast. Stuff I didn't even know I remembered. Look forward to more episodes and more guests. Thanks.
Thank you, Pierre.
Yeah, that was cool.
And speaking of guests, we're not hitting the road alone this week. Joining us is our very own skater boy, Andrew, here to help us chase sponsors, grind on the vert, and prove we totally could have gone pro if we really wanted to.
Welcome, Andrew. Welcome back.
Hello.
He was a boy. We were a girl. Could we make it any less obvious? If you want to learn more about Andrew, make sure you check out our Weddings Crasher episode and Dodgeball. It feels like those were so long ago, but they really weren't.
No, not too long ago.
Yeah.
Ages, forever ago. Too long ago. Too long ago.
It was pre.
It was pre-bebe.
It was. Oh, yes.
I was like a week out.
Yeah.
Thank you.
He's a lot more sleep deprived now.
Yeah. I love that you dressed up for the part for today.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely. I pulled this out of my 2002 collection.
It looks like it's pristine in its original form. So gotta give you credit for that. And especially, didn't you grow up in Florida?
Yeah, no, it was a poor choice for a Florida.
Because for the week that it gets cold here, I'm sure you rocked it hardcore.
Oh no, there many a sweats.
And I just want to give you guys a warning. If you hear any ASMR crinkling throughout the show, it's because I am eating my rotten gummies because this is what was needed to get through the movie.
It's true. You need comfort snacks.
It's my comfort snack. And the good thing is that it doesn't have a ton of sugar, so I don't feel as bad when I'm eating it. I mean, we watch a movie a week at this point, so I gotta cut back on on my movie snacks. But this one is a less guilty pleasure. So
yeah.
Well, Jackie.
Take a bite and then try to talk.
Tell us about Grind.
Okay. It's a movie. It was almost 2 hours for no goddamn reason. So Eric Rivers is tired of watching the pro skaters live his dream. So he and his crew, Dustin, Sweet Lou, and Matt, pile into a van and chase a skate tour across the country with no plan and no money. Along the way, they sneak into competitions, meet skate legends, eat it hard in front of crowds, and keep going anyway because this isn't really about going pro. It's about proving you belong even if you have to fall 100 times before you land it. It stars Adam Brody, Joey Kern, Mike Vogel, Vince Verluff, Jennifer Morrison, Jason London, and Bam Margera. It was written by Ralph Pizzulo, directed by Casey Lascala, and you can currently watch it on Prime or Pluto TV. But before we start, let's get into our ratings rewind.
So, you know the drill. Before we get into the movie, we'll reveal the rating our Y2K versions of ourselves will give, and then at the end, we'll see if our current selves agree with our initial rating. Our scale consists of would buy it again,
The best would play on repeat,
5-day rental,
would watch again,
2-day rental,
okay, but nothing to write home about,
same-day rental.
trash, straight up trash. I couldn't even think of anything.
I mean, you've got literal trash that they're jumping over. You've got porta potties,
yes.
Clown school. You had a lot to choose from.
I tried to wipe it off from my memory.
I was like, I'm so glad I just watched this. I could data dump on this episode and never look back.
Well, Andrew, what was your Y2K rating of Grind?
Y2K Andrew loved this movie. And I don't know why. But no, I think it was a would buy. I think I did own this at one point. So probably would buy again.
Jackie, how about you?
Shockingly, because you know I do love Adam Brody.
You do.
Yeah, I've never seen this movie.
I'm surprised too, because it just feels like in your wheelhouse for some reason.
Yeah.
At that time. You know I ain't seen this shit.
It's fine.
Well,
it was, as much as you felt like it was in my wheelhouse, it was definitely not in your wheelhouse.
100%.
Going to FAMU and being like, hey, guys, let's go see Grind this weekend.
No. All right. Box office. This movie had a budget of $6 million. Shocking.
More than I thought it would.
Yeah, and it grossed $5.14 million. And I kind of feel like this movie, if it had come like maybe 2 years earlier, or it would have been like that sweet spot. I mean, 2003 isn't that bad, but I'm surprised we didn't get a skater movie like this then. But yeah, we got Out Cold. When did that come out?
2001.
Okay, yeah.
I felt like this was the skate equivalent of Out Cold. Like they were trying to do the same thing, but did not hit the same line.
They even got London. Gonna say
that.
Yeah.
Oh,
that was one of my notes.
I was thinking to myself, we're going to have to rehash the Londons again. I think every episode, I mean, we're doing Mallrats not too far from here, so we'll have to reiterate it again. But yeah, Jackie, while I tell everybody the box office, why don't you figure out which one did we get? Yeah. So this movie, when did it open?
Oh, it was August 15th, 2003.
Okay. So in August, when this came out, the number one movie at the box office was Freddy vs. Jason. Then we had SWAT at number 2, Open Range at number 3, which that's wild. Freaky Friday at number 4, and Uptown Girls at number 5. So it had a small budget and it didn't even break even. International earnings were almost non-existent, showing the appeal was very niche for the time. I do feel like when it got to VHS to DVD that it probably did a little bit better, but I don't think we have those stats.
Yeah.
And yet again, little Raj coming in. Just, I know y'all are sick of this. I know it, but I just have to say, he gave BAP 0 stars and gave Grind 2 out of 4 stars. So Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times, he said that Grind is surprisingly mixed, leaning negative with a soft spot underneath. He wasn't impressed by the skateboarding itself, calling out how repetitive and underwhelming it felt compared to more authentic skate films. At the same time, he didn't attack the movie with his usual harshness. He saw it as harmless, even a little endearing in its aim to capture a carefree lifestyle, stating that the movie is nevertheless sweet in its meandering way. It has no meanness in it, no cynicism, no desire to be anything other than what it is, an evocation of the fun of living your life as a skateboarder.
Okay.
That's a whole lot of words salad there.
Yeah.
Braj. Let's see. We have one from Joe Leedon at Variety, or Ledden. Sorry if I said it wrong. He described the film as a formulaic teen road trip that fails to stand out in any meaningful way. He points out that while the premise has potential, the execution feels predictable, with humor that doesn't consistently land and characters that lack depth. Even the skateboarding, arguably the film's biggest selling point, is criticized as unremarkable and repetitious, which undercuts the very culture the movie is trying to celebrate. And I would have to agree. Also, like, we barely see this star skater that we're following the whole time. We never really see a run of him skateboarding. Like, we see a little bit, I think, at one point, but nothing to the extent that makes me say, this is why these guys are following him around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I have the rundown on the London Brothers. You ready?
Let's rehash it again.
Okay. Jeremy is from Mallrats.
Right. Okay. That's Jeremy.
Jason, who was in this movie and Out Cold.
Okay.
And Dazed and Confused.
Okay. Who's in Party of Five?
Who is? I think it was... Okay, hold on. Jason of Out Cold and Grind fame was also in Too Long Fu, Dazed and Confused. So I think it's Jeremy was on Party of Five.
You're right. He was
Dazed
and Confused.
So we haven't done a Jeremy movie then. We've only done Jason movies.
Correct. And we go through this every Jason movie that we do. And we still can't remember who is who.
Oh, I'm so sorry. It's just,
I'm convinced now that Jason, wait, did I get it right? Yeah, Jason London takes pieces from all of his movies and makes them into whatever movie he's doing.
Yes.
There's definitely a Dazed and Confused character in this movie.
Yes.
And that just kind of blew my mind because I forgot he was in that.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
The guy behind Jackie reminds me of Matthew McConaughey.
Yes.
He was based on Matthew McConaughey's character in Confused.
Watching his intro, I swore to Jamie that he literally quotes the same thing and was like, oh, I guess he doesn't say that.
No, but it's like adjacent.
It. Yeah. Oh yeah. It's him. They're the same.
Yeah.
I promise you, when we do Mallrats, I will remember that's Jeremy.
Yes. Yeah. Of Party of Five and Mallrats fame.
I won't.
No. I know.
I won't remember.
You won't remember by the end of this episode.
Facts. But before we get into cast and crew, let's hear a message from our...
All right, Paul, so I think it's time we, made a trailer.
Do we have to?
People keep asking, so we're going to deliver.
Well, what are we supposed to do in this damn trailer?
We're just going to talk about shit we do here. We theme our months, right? What do we...
I mean, I know we've done stuff like musicals and animation month and creature features, all sorts of stuff, but is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, it's something kind of like that. That I'm probably gonna sit there and tell people, we're on all social medias. We're on the Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, and it's all under Flicks and Friends podcast.
Yeah, I guess so. If they're not tired of hearing that by now.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that'll work. Should we press record?
Yeah, let's press record right now.
So the facts were thin for this movie, shockingly. So numerous professional skateboarders appear in the film, including Tony Hawk, Bam Margera, and Bob Burnquist.
Where was Tony Hawk?
I don't know. Everything I found said Tony Hawk was in it. I didn't see him.
So there's like a scene, the first scene that you see him, like them skating the half pipe, the person skating, I'm almost positive is Tony Hawk, but I was never able to write it down because I'm like, they never just say, oh, it's Tony Hawk. So
Yeah.
I'm like, that, it looks like him, it skates like him, must be him. I don't know.
But I also, so what I found out in my research of this movie was they shot, like they had two film crews essentially. They were shooting all of the skating scenes with one crew, and from what I read, Tony Hawk was like the creative director or whoever, like he helped with all those scenes. And then the other crew was like the actors and stuff. So I wonder if he just like was like, well, let me go and do it. Or like they were shooting B-roll or something. So he happened to be caught, but he was not officially like, that's Tony Hawk,
Right. Well, Ryan Sheckler was also in this movie. And this is why it's a crime and how our education system is broken. Because back in our day, we had MTV and VH1 to teach us the classics and the things we needed to know and bridging gaps. Because as we already know, I wasn't into skateboarding, but I know who Bam is and I know who Ryan Sheckler is because of MTV and the TV shows that they were on at the time. We're losing recipes, y'all, for real.
We really are. Unless it's on the TikTok or the Reels, the youth don't know.
Not the TikTok.
The TikToks.
The TikToks? The TikToks?
So this was pre-OC fame for Adam Brody. He filmed it before gaining wider recognition, but it premiered the same year. He does the same Seth Cohen tilt with his mouth open situation like he does in season 1.
Yep.
And
his lisp has gotten a lot better, though.
I didn't hear it still. No, sorry. And usually when somebody tells me or makes me recognize, it didn't take me out. I couldn't really hear it.
Well, it was also the film debut of Mike Vogel and Annabelle Gutman.
Oh, really? This was Mike Vogel's first movie? I didn't know that.
You ready to jump right into this movie, Danielle? So the movie opens, we meet Eric Rivers. He just wants to skate, man. And he's good, even though we never see him doing anything impressive. We just have to take the word of the movie that he is good enough to go pro.
When I tell you the difference between the actors and the stunt skaters, it's bad. The transitions are horrendous. Jennifer Morrison was egregious because the wig, it was the wig that I'm like, that's not even the same texture. That's not the same color. She doesn't even have the same build. It's pretty bad. It takes you out every time you're seeing one of these guys skate.
It's like we talk about in Save the Last Dance. It's just like waist up shots of them skating and stuff, right? Because you can't show the full body because they're not doing what you think they're doing.
But they get some of the scenes, there's legit close-ups. And what they do is they blurry the face. I'm like, I know that's not him. Stop. Why are we even pretending? I kind of just feel like at that time, you could have probably gotten real skaters to do this movie because it's not like the acting was top tier.
You can't
know
tell
what I
me
mean?
anything about Sweet Lou. Like, I was like, I want a whole movie about Sweet Lou.
But he was
Sweet
fine
Lou.
because it wasn't like dependent on him
Skating.
skateboarding,
Yeah.
you know? So
I was
yeah.
more shocked that he actually skateboarded. They're like,
I
oh,
did.
they're gonna have him skateboard. Okay, like I
I-
thought he was just the wheels.
I thought so too. And I turned to Ken at the very end. I was like, Lou skates? Like, when did this happen?
But
Well, I figured when they said they wanted him to be on the skate team that he knew how to skate.
I thought he was a figurehead with a car.
so
And they never got his van back.
and so that whole thing. He is wearing cowboy boots, and you know he does not have a change of shoes. He is skating in cowboy boots, and you cannot tell me otherwise.
I should have wrote down all the concerns and questions that I
Oh,
had, but one of the biggest things for me, and you guys already know what it is, was hygiene. Because
Yeah.
I know there was not a
oh.
reference to bathing except for once. And I don't think that these boys actually did bathe
Matt
It's
must have been
at
your
all.
favorite person. Did you just love Matt's character then? Like his whole thing?
I fucking hated him. He
head to toe, top to
had
bottom.
just
I
everything about him made my skin crawl. The entire like I don't know if the actor is the way that this character was, or he was that good of an actor to make me that disgusted with whatever the
He's
hell was going on.
he's the same character in Rat Race. And
yes, I
to
thought the
my
same
knowledge,
thing.
that those are the only two movies I've ever seen him in. Let me look at his.
I legit have
He
a note that just says Matt is rough in this rewatch.
Yes.
he
uh,
also like there was so much homoerotic stuff happening in this
yeah.
movie, and I'm just like, did people recognize this when they were watching it, or is this like the underbelly of white male friendships that we just haven't really dug into because it
It was
there's a thin
overt.
line. Yeah, it's a
Like,
thin yeah.
yeah, like when they're sleeping in the desert, what's his name? The lead guy. Eric is
Is
big spooning
Sweet
Sweet
Lou.
Lou.
Yeah.
And like they seem to be enjoying it because it's not like they wake up and they're like, ugh, or whatever. They
Yeah.
kind of look at each other as Matt's dancing with the lizard in his pants. And they're just like still like embraced. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, well, that's your bro, man. Like, got to keep warm somehow. Kind of here for it.
I'm not hating on it.
Yeah.
It's like it's just I was shocked how much it was. Like there are times where Matt is like ew girls a lot.
Mhm.
Like he gets very angry when Sweet
No
Lou is
girls.
with girls.
Yeah.
And but then at the same time, and maybe he's a bi king, I'm not sure, but he outright touches women. There's no consent in this
Yeah.
movie whatsoever. He literally walked up to a stranger and touch her tits.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if this is what our generation was growing up watching, fuck. How did we not see this in real time? Yeah.
It's bad.
No, yeah, it's not
Matt
stellar.
was rough. I cannot condone Matt's actions.
The release the twins
Oh,
scene.
yeah. Yeah.
He straight up robs a child for the skateboarding
Skateboard.
deck.
He also grabs a little person and tries to say that they're a child.
Wee man. Yeah.
I mean, we know who he is and we get it. It's like the joke, but like, oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm sorry for any of the listeners. If this is your favorite movie, I don't know if you should listen.
I
don't
think there
know.
should be some reflection as to why this is your favorite movie and maybe recognize that there are some serious things wrong with this movie.
Oh,
Look,
man.
some people might just feel like nostalgia carries them through.
And that's fine. As long as you recognize, like, I know the things that are wrong with this
Yeah.
movie, but like my heart loves it. I can give a pass. But like to be like, no, there's nothing wrong with this movie. Much like a kid in King Arthur's Court. Yeah, not great. So we're introduced to the four main characters. So there's Eric, who needs to go pro. He's good enough, even though we never see it. There's Dustin, that just wants to save money for college, and he's working at, I don't even know what the chili place is called. Chili and Such.
Chili and Such.
Which I want to know. I'm guessing it's not a real place, real restaurant.
No way.
Okay, I was just checking.
If it is, because like the whole scene of like, no, this is how you build this is how you make this bowl.
Right.
Scoops.
And then it's just hands, like not gloved hands.
Yes.
Just...
Girl, what did I tell you? One of my biggest beefs with this movie was hygiene. What I had to take breaths at certain points. Oh my God.
The cameos though. Like his boss was
the guy from Office Space.
Yeah,
Office Space. He's in Dodgeball.
Yes.
And then Shooter McGavin is Eric's dad.
Yeah. I have a note that says the entire budget was blown on cameos.
And then when they go to that weird hotel and they clean the pool, I'm like, is that Bobcat Goldthwait?
It was.
Absolutely is.
With like cootie measures and like a crop top.
His belly was so out. I was like, ugh.
This movie was all over the place.
It was so all over.
And then
Randy Quaid at the end.
Yes, like why Randy Quaid is his dad.
Why was he clapping like this?
Because he's a clown.
No, girl. I can't.
I mean, yeah. I'm going to clap like that from now on. I hope you know that. I'm very excited about this.
Next morning meeting, please. Just like...
atrocious. I don't even have any words.
And these actors, like, why can't I remember Shooter McGavin's real name? Like, he's an established actor. Why agree? Christopher McDonald. Like,
it's probably, I know a person, I owe a favor, I'm doing something nice. That's usually how that stuff always works.
They cashed in all of the favors.
Right.
Yes. Also, this is another movie we can add to featuring the Volkswagen New Beetle. Who knew?
Yeah. They made an appearance.
True.
I like how we're dancing around everything except for the plot of the movie.
What is the plot? Who is the plot? Where is the plot?
Well, I feel like they started the movie on like, hey, we're going to tell you this thing, and then we're going to kind of like really mess with you.
Yeah.
Because and like it was the first thing when you meet him. They make such a big deal to say, good morning, Chicago. Oh, like happy graduation. And then the very next scene is them skating downtown with palm trees.
Yes.
Like in the background. So I'm like, why? Wait, what? I had to rewind to confirm that he said Chicago and be like, why are there palm trees?
Right. Oh my God. And I just feel like I could be wrong, but I'm like, suburb Chicago had a skate park.
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
It could be somewhere, I guess. I don't.
You know what? My friend grew up in Chicago. Let me ask him.
Okay. Get some
I'm going to get
2003, 2002. Did y'all have skate parks?
It's just like the pointless stuff that they put in here too. Like they did the scene with them like skating into the school in graduation robes for all of like 2 minutes to say, oh, we're late, and then nothing else with the graduation.
And then we're just graduated?
Yep. They bought those robes and they're like, hey, we got to use these.
They're graduated. And then I was confused when we get to Chili and Stuff. Is that what it's called? Chili and Stuff?
Yes.
Such.
Sorry. When we get to Chili and Such and you see, I thought it was Eric who was at the drive-in, like fucking around, saying random stuff.
I think it was.
But then he comes in to work because he works there. All of a sudden, I still hear his boss hearing someone say weird shit muffled in the background. So I'm like, then who's that?
Yeah. That was very confusing because I'm like, also, why are you fucking with the restaurant you're like trying to get a job at?
Right. Well, he's not trying to he has a job there. So it makes sense that he's fucking with his boss. And then you see Adam Brody having a back and forth with a character actor I've seen in a ton of stuff, but I don't know his name, sorry. Arguing about a gut buster, I think is what something like I don't know. They're going back and forth, and Adam Brody's like fighting his boss about it. And there's a lot of poop in this movie.
There is.
Yes.
A lot. And I'm just like, is this something that's just a foundation in white comedies?
I guess.
Poop is
Okay.
funny.
So
Just-
Stephen Root plays the boss, who also played Milton in Office Space. Brian Posen plays the customer,
Yes.
which the customer's name or how he's titled in the movie is Orville the Scraggly Guy.
What?
Such an unnecessary title.
Right? Like, do we need to give a descriptor?
Sure did.
Okay.
But in this scene, like, it's like Adam Brody's character. Oh, Dustin. I guess I'll call him Dustin. He's always concerned with going to college.
Yes.
But he's already gotten into college. He's already saved the money he really needs for college. Then we find out that he has a full ride. There's I don't know, there's like a discussion where they said, "Oh man, you have a full ride." I could be spacing out, but I heard full ride. So, I don't know. I'm not quite sure.
Well, and after working at Chili and such, it seems like just taking whatever shift he can get, and I don't know how long he's been there. It seems like a month and a half with the amount of money he saved, which is like $748.
Yeah.
I'm like,
what are you gonna do with that?
Yeah, like what you're gonna pay for like food for like two months and then be out of money in college just eating ramen? I didn't understand.
I don't understand it either. So that's where we meet Dustin as at the Chili and such. And then from there, I believe we go back to Eric's house.
Yes.
And that's where we meet his dad and his stepmom, who they all go and do weird stuff to, who just stands there and acts like she doesn't even speak the language they're speaking. I don't know what's going on there.
It's bizarre.
If I'm not mistaken, her character title is Hot Mama.
Oh
No.
God.
Was it Hot? No,
Is it not Hot Mama?
I feel like Hot Mama was the pregnant lady taking.
It could. That was taking registration at one of the things.
Yeah.
But in this scene is where we meet Matt, and I'm turned off from jump. Literally him jumping off the house into the pool. And I think that's how they bathe. Truly, that's the only time besides him actually noting that he took a shower 4 or 5 days later was that pool incident.
Yeah. So there are a couple of lines from Dustin telling Matt like
he needs to bathe. He
needs to change his clothes.
But so that's what pisses me off. He says, "Change your clothes." No, bathe.
Wasn't
with
like
soap.
His pickup line at that demo in the beginning when he still had the cast on was like, "What does it smell like to you? Pepperoni or was it butt?"
A butt crack.
Yes, butt
crack or pepperoni. He's like, my money's on pepperoni.
There was a lot of butt crack in this movie too.
There was
like a ton.
Which at one point he called it a bunny nose, and I'm like, you know what? It does look like a bunny nose. That's going to be my main takeaway from this movie is a butt looks like a bunny nose.
He did have another line that when he said it, or no, it wasn't him. It was their rivals said it, and I was like, I'm gonna have to steal that because that's some straight just early 2000s nostalgia. I think it was why do you gotta put that bass in my face? Because he farted. I'm
Oh
like,
my God.
yep, gonna have to take that.
So you get the feel from his dad, from Eric's dad, that it's either he goes to school or
Gets a
he
job.
comes work
Yeah.
at his company.
Yeah.
I think like making cement, paint, I don't know, something like that. Hardware. I'm just gonna say that. And then we're at his house again. I don't know what happens after that, but I know
Well,
that
he breaks his skateboard and he goes
That's
to the
right.
shop to try and get a new deck. But they're like, Ken's like, did he say $179 for a deck? I was like, yeah, like skateboards
that
are
sounds
not
about
fucking
right. Yeah.
cheap if you get like a brand name one, right? If you
Mhm.
don't just go to Walmart and get a
Right. Or
like
just like a better material
right.
one. Like the one he has is the Walmart brand in it. I'm sure it cracked pretty easily.
Yeah. And this is when we're first not introduced because we all know who Bam Margera is, but he just
Mhm.
shows up in the shop and is like, let me get 3 of my decks, blah, blah, blah. And Eric's trying to make a deal with the guy like, hey, if you give me a deck, then like once I have a brand deal, like I'll promote your shop and stuff like, or like once I have a sponsor, I'll promote your shop and stuff. Essentially like free sponsorship until he can like make it big. And the shop owner is pretty much like, go fuck yourself. But here, Bam, here's these 3 decks for free type thing.
There's a lot of stuff happening too. There's a little kid in the background stealing while his mom is there. I'm like, it's just a mess in general.
It
But
really is.
I give it up to Bam because I don't think his acting was horrendous.
No.
I was actually surprised that it wasn't too bad.
I'm curious if it came about the same time he was doing the TV show,
Oh,
not Jackass,
probably
but his
his
why,
own spinoff.
why can't I remember what the name of that
Viva
show
la
is?
Bam.
There it is. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
April.
April. A gem.
Well, yeah. And then, so what else I read about this movie is like it was heavily improvised. So I could imagine they probably gave Bam direction and was just like, go do whatever the fuck Bam does. You
Which
know,
makes
like,
it a
Yeah.
lot easier.
yeah.
Okay, so the show, Viva La Bam, I think the first episode came out October 26, 2003. So they could have been filming it at the same time.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
makes sense.
So Eric's tired of the shit. He doesn't want to go work for his dad. His dream is skateboard. And so he's like, but he doesn't have a sponsor to go and do this skateboarding tour across America. That's like very ambiguous. Like there's stops, but like, I don't know. Like it doesn't, it seems organized, but there's never really like the blah, blah, blah tour. It's
Mhm.
just like this weird skating expo that travels.
Well, I don't think it's a skating. I think what it is that there's literally a bunch of different shows
Mm-hmm.
happening in different places, and they're following Jimmy as
The one
he
like
goes on his tour of these
Okay,
different things.
got
Yeah.
it. That
Because
makes
I don't
sense.
think at the time there was a ton of circuits that were just like other sports where, you know what I mean?
It wasn't like the X
like a
Games where
Right.
I
it
think
was
they
just-
went like competition to competition.
Got
Right. Because even now, if you look it up, there's a different competition everywhere popping
Yeah.
up for different things. But I do know that there are certain competitions that can qualify you for bigger things.
got it.
Yeah.
But regardless, you have to have sponsorship in order to be registered, and that is what Eric is lacking. But he doesn't give a shit. He's like, let's just go see what happens. But we need a ride. So let's go hit up Sweet Lou because Sweet Lou has a sweet van.
Sweet Lou has a Chester molester van because
Yep.
Sweet Lou is fucking old and scamming on young underage girls
Yep.
and is proud of it. I think his van even says like it's a pet grooming thing or
Dog and
something like that.
cats, but like the cats is like X'd out.
Which is also weird because, like, wouldn't you want the dog X out? Because then
Yeah.
it's just pussy grooming.
Y2K Andrew loves Sweet Lou. Now Andrew wrote Sweet Lou the Predator question mark.
I like Sweet Lou once we got him away from the high school.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I just want to talk about the lens of, so we start going to these competitions once Lou says yes, and he's kind of pushed into it because he says he's fine. Yes, he's 6 years older than all the girls that he is trying to come up on. But then one of the girls is like, I told my dad, and the dad comes and is trying to beat his ass, and that's when he agrees, and they go and take the van. They go get their stuff. I do like that the one skill that Matt contributes to this is that he spray paints the van within 2 seconds, which is hilarious.
Team super duper. Yes.
And then they hit the road. But once they start getting to all of these different competitions, if you watch and you see these women, there is one, I think it's like the last competition, women are just in bikinis. I don't understand.
Hold on.
Yeah.
I'm going to grab my photo album with my Warped Tour pictures and look to see if there is nary a person in a bikini top at any, like, I could understand if it was like in Venice or something where, like, in California where they're just used to, it's by the beach and they're used to wearing just bikini tops, but I cannot remember a single like punk skateboarding function that I attended where people were just out walking around in bikini tops and then low-rise jeans.
Right.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of scenes again where Matt is just touching women. Sweet Lou is just like, you want to make out. At least he asked for consent.
Yeah.
In these occasions, but Matt is just absolutely atrocious on how he approaches women, what he says to women. It takes me out of the movie every 10 seconds.
How old is Matt supposed to be in this movie?
They're supposed to be like, I have to guess if they're graduating high school, 17, 18 years old.
So he's the same age as Dustin and Eric?
Yes.
Because he
looks 30.
He is 30. I looked it up. He is 30. The man's 5 o'clock shadow is rough. Like the other guys, I think are like 23, 24 in this, which I'm like, all right, yeah, I like that. And then Sweet Lou is like a little bit older than them in real life. But like Matt is the one that is the outlier. And it's that was Jamie's contribution to my notes was that guy is an old man and should not be playing an 18-year-old. I'm like, oh, all right, fair.
And like he just, the way I think he thought he ate so hard with his performance and just being over the top about everything. And I'm like, is this leaning into like, he really is a clown? He's just a clown for skateboarding rather than like red nose. Like, I did not understand his over the topness. I was trying to make sense of something that just doesn't make sense.
He was 33 when the movie came out, so at least 32 when he was filming.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, just grosses me out. And he just like wasn't funny. He just was like, and then like all these weird head motions. There's one scene where they're at a club. You're at the club, and instead of trying to talk to women, what he does, and he confuses her because she's like, I always fall for the gay man. And she's like, oh, he's like, no. But he doesn't really stop her.
Yeah.
He instead stays on the staircase and tries to keep blowing and burping and weird things to this man who's passed the fuck out. I was like, what is this scene? What is this?
But Danielle, that scene is brought back to life by the choreographed dance that happens.
Girl, when I tell you, when we get to that scene,
we're there because like we're just going.
We're trying. Okay,
yeah.
Imagine.
Hold on. Before you start, let me play the voice memo Danielle sent me after that scene.
I just made it to the dance scene. There's not enough juice in me to get through this movie.
It was so bad.
I will happily attest to the whitest of white dance moves for you, Danielle. They
But-
took a great song and really just.
But y'all don't even see the layers. Y'all don't even know your history. What dances were they doing?
Yes.
They were doing the Jackson 5 dance routine from Dance Machine. What is it? Wait. Is it Dance Machine? Hold on. Because let me tell you, I was appalled. My culture being taken like
Appropriated
that
in this manner.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. They were. Can you hear the water?
No.
Okay. They were doing the Dancing Machine Jackson 5 choreography. That stand and point
yeah, you're right.
and this, that is the Jackson 5. But very poorly. Very poorly executed. It was the worst dancing in a movie ever for me. I don't want to say ever, but it was pretty damn bad.
Yeah.
With the knowledge that they improvised a lot, do you think it was like a day of like, hey, we should just do this dance?
Probably.
Because that would make sense why it wasn't like very well done.
Yeah.
I just actually, Andrew, what I think happened is that they did have a choreographer. And that's what they got, because I cannot see those 4 white boys coming together and riffing to do that dance. I don't know if all of them would even know what that dance is.
Yeah.
I think someone said either watch this video and you guys recreate the dance, or they had a choreographer to tell them. To tell me that that was just off the cuff, that they all knew that dance, which, okay, maybe. Highly doubtful. The 30-year-old probably knew it.
Well, it was his idea. It was Matt's idea.
Right.
Absolutely.
And when I tell you they thought they killed, and I promise you a bunch of kids watched that movie and was like, oh, that dance scene is the best. And I was cringing to no end watching it. I was like, there's no way I'm making it. They cleared the dance floor to do that mess. It was no Matthew Lillard, she's all that dance. I'll tell you that.
And then they got kicked, or the 2000s wannabe gangsters, mommy daddy money gangsters that
gangsters
got them kicked out.
They were wiggers. They were trying to cosplay black, and I'm like, why do we have to keep seeing this? It's not even funny.
It was a trope that the 90s and 2000s thought was funny that just like took a long ass time to die.
It was bad. Not to say that wasn't existing, because it was. Hell, Jackie and I saw it in school. We had so many white kids, especially white Jewish boys at our school, that really were like down with hip hop. There was a kid in our class that knew the entire history of Cash Money and No Limit. He knew everything about No Limit Soldiers and how they were selling the CDs out of the back of their car. And I was like, why do you know more about this than me?
So we also see like a bunch of different competitions, and Eric is trying to get in and like being denied.
Eric is not good at pitching himself.
No.
He's very aggressive, but and I know you have to be with selling, but there's like a coolness about skating, and it throws off these guys. If he had just like been cool with them and been maybe like friends.
Yeah. Just like at the club, like the guy was not mean to him. He wasn't like fuck off. He was just like, read the room, bro. Now's not the time.
Right. You don't network here.
Yeah.
And he finally asked Bam when he saw him, which he should have done in the beginning.
Yeah.
But that whole interaction with Bam and the character Jennifer Morrison, Jamie, was super weird. He was making her seem like she was some sort of groupie, but she really was a skateboarder.
I think because she has like a throwaway line later about how like some people don't recognize women as skaters. And so I think that scene with Bam was him trying to be like, oh, women can't skate type thing,
Gotcha.
where Eric took it as she was just a groupie following him around or his side chick or whatever.
Right. I just feel like they could have fleshed her character out more. It was just such
Yeah.
a weird thing. I thought she was going to actually turn out to be one of the sponsors, and
Me
that would have been
too.
cool. But then it just took a turn, and I was like, I know
and a
more than I
wig
want to
and a
know.
hat.
Yeah.
And then, a couple of other things about that club scene. Number one, there is a random clown as they're walking up to get into the club.
Right. There's clowns all throughout this movie. There's mimes that come through the scene when they go to the last competition.
And the clown has set up on two Rubbermaid trash cans covered with the tablecloth. And he's constructing balloon
animals.
Yeah. But it almost seemed like he created a dick and was like thrusting it at people at one point. And then like Mike walks by and they're trying to walk in to get in a club and like there's a bouncer and a whole scene like that. But Mike turns around and just like fucking full on shoves this clown, knocks over his little trash can setup. And he's like, I fucking hate clowns or whatever he says. And we're just like, I get it. I don't like clowns either, but I'm not going to go and accost someone trying to make a side hustle.
I thought it was so weird that when they got to the club, that all the music was hip hop. It just felt like this bar club situation would have been playing more rocker music or something.
This whole soundtrack.
Where was it?
Yeah.
Where was this club? It
Right.
was like in a train station or something.
It looked like this big space and they just didn't fit there. The aesthetics were weird. I know they were offbeat because usually they play a song that's not the song that they're going to overlay, but I was just like, this whole situation is weird.
This soundtrack confused me.
Yeah.
Because there's only like 2 or 3 like punk songs on it. The rest are like a mix of hip hop, which those two genres do tend to overlay sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But then it was like this weird, like there was like retro rock from the 80s. And,
right.
Like, I was like, where are we? Like the soundtrack should tell a story, and this story is very confusing. Much like
it told the story of this movie. Nothing makes sense.
Can we talk about how they end up at a zoo and Tom Green is there? Why?
Oh, no, it was the skate park that the main Jimmy guy was found at. It was just called Animal Chin.
I thought they were at a zoo. I was like, I don't know what's happening.
Tom Green was the only redeeming quality in my second watch around, and I knew he was coming, and I was so excited. I woke Jamie up. I'm like, you have to watch Tom Green be Tom Green.
In a scene that went on like 2 minutes too long.
Yeah, and why did that guy try to take the tire off the van?
Why were all of the kids at this one specific skate park so terrible?
Yeah.
Children of the corn.
And then during that scene, at one point, because they're just trying to ask, I don't even know why they engaged with Tom Green's character for so long, because you have the information you need. Like, Jimmy was here yesterday. You missed him.
Today's Sunday. Jimmy was here Saturday. That's yesterday.
So when I originally asked Andrew if he had seen the movie Grind, he did not just respond with a yes or no. He reenacted that whole scene for me.
Absolutely.
And you had no idea what he was talking about.
No, I was just like, okay, do you want to do Grind with us? And then at the end, Dustin just gets pissed and walks off screen. Well, apparently that was Adam Brody just being over Tom Green and walking off set.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah,
I actually love that more That's
Yes.
just like a genuine reaction of like, I cannot deal with Tom Green.
Yeah, I
Tom
cannot
Greening.
stand here and listen to him say the same 5 things over and over. I'm out.
Oh my God.
It's
At the skate park is when Sweet Lou meets this woman, asks
Yes.
her if she wants to make out. She comes back with them. She's in the van. They're in the back. I didn't know there was a bed back there. And then here comes Matt doing weird shit again.
Yeah.
I was just like, what is happening? He's like trying to give them a massage. I don't know what's going on with that. Also, at some point his skateboard gets stuck in the windshield of
Oh, that's towards the
That
end.
was the rapper.
No,
that was
that
the
one's
beginning. That's what
beginning.
Oh,
ignited
that
the
is
feud.
the beginning. You're
Well,
right.
like unofficially ignited the feud of the dumbest storyline of the whole movie.
Yes.
Right, because like it would be one thing if they might have cut it because I just
Yeah.
didn't understand how the guys even knew it was their skateboard in the first place. Like, why do they have beef? And I feel like there was a scene that must have been cut where
Yeah.
they like confront them about it because you broke my windshield and then didn't say anything about it and just left it alone. So
Oh,
I
and we
don't know.
also forgot at the first location, Jimmy's tour bus is there. And like Eric is just like walking up to like the tour manager, played by Dave Foley.
Right.
Yes.
A very much underused Dave Foley.
A lot of favors were asked for this movie.
And
100%.
he's like, can Jimmy watch my tape? And he responds by opening like the little storage area under the bus and just like all these VHS tapes falling
Yeah,
out.
I'll put it with the rest of them.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to say it.
Yes.
Did you know who the security guard was?
He looked like
Yes.
a wrestler. I couldn't tell though.
Nerds. He is
Yes.
Ogre from Revenge of the Nerds.
Yes.
And I only caught it this time and I was so excited and then proceeded to yell nerds 6 times.
There are some 80s movies that
Yes.
I think have fucked up my brain because I remember watching Revenge of the Nerds a
Yes.
lot when I was under the age of 10. Not appropriate.
Yes.
So as soon as I saw him, I was like, I had PTSD because I knew like who he was. He's a bully.
He's another one that had like the most absurd character name and it was like Scabby something.
Because he had that like
The scars, yeah. Oh my gosh, what was it?
What happened? So after they take the van and they've got the girl in the back, the tire starts acting up because I thought he was stealing the tire. He just loosened the nuts, I guess. I don't understand this part of the story.
yeah, but like they show a tire that's like completely blown out instead of it like just falling off because it looked like he was loosening the lug nuts.
Right.
But then the tire blew, like it made no sense.
I was thinking that I'm like, how does like loosening the lug nuts cause the entire thing to just like okay.
Yeah, implode.
Mm-hmm.
But now we're stuck on the side of the road. Luckily, they have a spare.
Mm-hmm.
So they changed the spare. And is this where they're like hanging out on the little
On the rocks, they're all eating. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they moved from the side of the road and they're like, I call it the Roswell rocks because it looked like it, the cliff. And then they're sitting talking. I would have been, okay, go ahead.
Oh, just Dustin. Everyone's starving.
Right.
Dustin pulls out a Sammy and was like, don't you wish you had money? And is like getting ready to eat his Sammy. And then Matt just grabs it and shoves more than half of it in his mouth.
I would have bitch slapped him till tomorrow. I'm telling you, with this man, he aggravated my soul. Everything that he did.
Well,
So annoying. And then that's when the girl, because Matt has been complaining about no girls,
yeah.
and she steals the van.
Mm-hmm.
I do love that Sweet Lou just goes, touche. Like he's not even mad. She does dump all their shit out, so at least she gives them their stuff.
Yeah.
Wham bam, steal the van.
Yeah. But that's crazy for them to be sleeping in the desert, by the way.
So we wake up the next morning. This is the scene where Lou and Eric are very lovingly spooning, and we are awoken to Matt doing the most. He has something in his pants. Something has crawled into his
Like
pants.
I was guessing it was a scorpion, but I don't think
too.
I've ever seen anything come out. I fast forward. I'm gonna be 100. I fast forward
It was
because
a
I'm like I don't
lizard.
fucking
It was
care.
it was like a gecko.
Yeah.
Oh, one scene, a whole segment we missed was one of the first stops that they made was some like roach motel.
Oh yeah.
And
the pool.
we're excited because there was a pool, but the pool was full of
The
junk.
bobcat, yeah.
Right. So I think they say, hey, we'll clean the pool and out everything if we can have a room. And so then there's one heart bed. At max, 3 people could sleep on it.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they ever pull back to see how everyone's laying with each other. But I have questions.
I had questions because everyone at the very least is topless.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I'm guessing.
I don't know, Andrew, just in your experience hanging out with your bros going on a trip, have you all laid 4 across just without tops on in a bed?
Not 4. I've definitely done 2, which I feel like is a normal. And to be fair, we were it was a sports related. We were traveling and everybody is larger. So I could only assume it was very warm in that room. I'm not going to try to justify four men in the bed, but
yeah,
that the 2 would have made a little sense.
And you know what? I blame a homophobic society that makes us even question men just being able to like sleep
the men
in the
four
same
across
room.
in a bed because like no one is sleeping on that floor.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was more like why is there the illusion that you're nude?
Yes,
bed
that's what it is. Go ahead. Sorry.
No.
Go ahead, Andrew.
Now that I'm thinking about it, it's the same bed they're sleeping topless in that they found a pair of underwear in right when they got in the room.
Yeah.
Right. And then
I forgot about
Bobcat in the middle of the night, Eric is talking to Sweet Lou. I think it's Sweet Lou.
Yeah.
And the person that responds is Bobcat under the bed. And he's like, can I have my underwear back? And it's just like, but we don't know if they stayed the rest of the night or they ran out immediately after.
Yeah.
There's a gap in between that joke hitting.
Because when they leave, it's light out. And I assume like this would be as they're going to sleep.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I had questions about that. So we've now moving back to where we are. So
and I think another scene that we missed was they're hungry, and so they stop at a chili and such.
It's just so unnecessary.
So unnecessary.
What I thought
that
Dustin was going to do, because Dustin had his outfit from work, because they pulled him from work.
Yeah.
I thought Dustin was going to roll in as if he was working at that location, get some food, and leave.
Same.
The alternative?
Because he says, I know what to do. And I'm like, oh, they pull this con often. No, what he does is he digs through the trash, because the whole argument in the beginning is the customer is always right. Just give them what they want. And so he digs through the trash, pulls out a receipt so that they can go through the drive-thru and say that the order is wrong and they'll remake it for them. What happens next is a tiny human walks up and is like, I had a gut buster and a shake and blah, blah, blah. And then projectile vomits all over Dustin. Dustin doesn't seem to clean it up in any fashion.
You just see him in new clothes in the next scene. Yeah. He's in brand new clothes. And I will say an egregious amount of bodily fluids are on Dustin in this movie, because at one point they're all peeing together, and
in the desert,
and Matt turns as he's talking and pees on on Dustin, and again, infuriated. I would have killed him because that's gross and unnecessary. So they ended you do see him change. You see him in a different set of clothes, and they just go through the drive-through and say, "Hey, we ordered all these things and
we got 3 coffees."
Right. And they're like, "Oh, I remember that order." And then they like just come through and we'll give it to you.
That was one that like was another. I'm like, how does that make sense? And he's like, yeah, I got home and I opened my bag and it was 3 coffees. I'm like, one, why are there coffees in a bag?
Yeah.
What? It's just the whole.
When that kid vomited, we're laying in bed watching it, and Ken just like turns to me. We were at the dance scene, and he's like, "How much longer do we have in this movie?" I'm like, "Homie, we have over an hour left. Like, we're not even halfway through." And then he just like slowly turns his head. He goes, "Why'd that kid do that?" I was like, "I have no clue." I have no answers as to why this movie.
No answers. And I think what made me mad about Matt is that he would always just pick the worst thing to do possible.
Yeah.
Right? So they go to another competition. They're trying to, again, find Jimmy and get access to Jimmy. So Matt and Dustin sneak onto Jimmy's bus. And Dustin, for some reason, when he's taking the tape out of this a video camera, he busts the tape. I'm guessing it was accidentally that he does this, and then he puts their tape in. Dude, if you break this tape, wouldn't you assume they would know that you're the one who put the new tape in,
right,
to replace it? Like, this is not leaving a good impression.
And don't just throw it on the floor. Just take it with you.
Yeah. Right.
Keep it. Yeah.
While Matt decides, because the whole movie is about him pooping on himself, is pooping in this RV, and apparently he needs to have his gut checked because it smells. I felt like I smelt what it smelled like. And then Dustin has to go into the bathroom with him because here comes Jimmy and his videographer, and they're like, 1, the bus smells, and 2, what the hell happened to the tape? And they leave. Yeah. And while that's happening, poor Eric is trying to talk. This is when he talks to Bam. Bam says yes, but then in defending Jamie from Bam being an asshole, Bam's like, fuck you, I'm not looking at your tape now, bud. You just fucked over yourself, you know?
Yeah. And then Jamie's like she can't get a word in edgewise to say, like, I can get you on the list. And is this when they're all sitting around talking about, like, next steps? Do we just go home? What do we do? Right.
Right, because at this point, Eric is defeated, and he's like, I think we're done. I think we should go home.
Before that happens, Jimmy's bus is leaving.
Right.
And Eric's like, one last Hail Mary to get his attention. And so there is the world's worst ATV driver roaming around the parking lot. And, like, Ken hates ATVs to start with. He's just like, they're dangerous. Like, no one drives them properly. Like, he hates ATVs. And so I knew as soon as this man started driving erratically, Ken was going to be like, this is why we don't drive ATVs. And so the man rolls the ATV over on himself.
What I don't understand is how in the next scene, when Eric has this, like, big idea about jumping so that the bus can see, or Jimmy can see in the bus, is that same man is who they are depending on to pull them, and he's not injured in any way after the ATV falls on him.
No, and my friend had an ATV roll over her leg, and she still has, like, severe nerve damage.
Oh my God.
In her ankle. Like, It's not something you bounce back from.
No, not in the slightest.
But Jimmy jumps over a dumpster and like, I don't know what his
Eric
plan,
does,
or
yeah.
I'm sorry, Eric does. And I don't know what his plan for landing the trick was, because it seemed like it was pointed solely in the direction of the porta potties. Like there was nowhere to land.
He landed it. He just immediately skated into porta
Yeah.
potties. It was gonna break his fall.
Okay. What I don't understand is this. This scene would have made more sense about the porta potties is because at one point they see this larger man go into the porta potties. He has to use the bathroom so badly that his pants it's hanging off of him. So we see again butt crack, and he goes into the porta potties.
That's Preston Lacey.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think they intentionally had him because he's like very much does that in the Jackass movies, like the same shtick thing.
I missed it because I didn't know it, but I guess he's supposed to anchor the porta potties that when Eric hits it, that all the poop turns over. I thought it would have just made more sense if like the man would have fell over or his poop was everywhere. You know, I was just like, I don't understand the scene, and now they have to clean it.
Yes. Or be prosecuted because they're not supposed to, even though this is a skating competition, they're not supposed to skate. I guess outside the ramp or the competition or whatever.
I just know the four of them smell like wet dog and ass. I just know it. And I know when they take a shower that they don't use soap. And if they do, they're all sharing the same soap and not using a washcloth and just rubbing that dirty soap all over themselves and not washing their legs or their feet, and probably taking the soap and putting it in between their nasty doo-doo stained butt cheeks because they don't wipe properly. I just know they're just nasty and dirty. And I know their mouth smells like dried up Doritos from like 23 years ago. I just had to let that out because that's all I could feel watching this movie.
I'm thoroughly shocked that nobody, like, they included this feature in like multiple scenes, but nobody at the skate park, or at least at that competition, said anything about Matt walking around with the sex doll, like just strapped to his back.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, okay, you've clearly made a choice to have this in like a lot of scenes, but you never reference it other than he's just got it.
It feels like a scene was cut that explains it.
Okay.
And then like it's supposed to be like a run through joke, but we didn't get the initial joke to know what it was about.
The sex doll, you see him put it in the van when they're leaving. Then when the girl takes the van, she throws out his sex doll. So they all are carrying all their shit. So I understood why he was carrying it because they have no car to put it anywhere else. But it's stupid. I think somebody thought that shit was going to be hilarious. And maybe to somebody it was.
I do like that when he's trying to get into the RV bathroom he's like slamming the door on it. I did find that funny.
Can we talk about it's time to meet the clowns?
Yeah, that was the last stitch, right? They were going to give up, and he's like, no.
I know what to do.
Yeah.
Send in the clowns.
So we go to a clown college. They go to a clown college, and then as the audience, we discovered that Matt's parents have run off to become clowns a year before his senior year, along with his smoking hot sister, very petite, big boobalicious girl.
Yeah.
Who, and this is what I want to talk about the most. He sees his parents. He has all this strife about clowns. He finally bathes, puts on a new shirt. Great. His parents give them a truck. He's all good. But Sweet Lou falls in love with his sister immediately.
Because she takes his glasses off so she can really see him.
Oh, Lord Jesus.
They had that intimate moment where she taught him how to throw a pie.
Yeah.
And then she licked her fingers and that was it.
That's
That's all
right.
he needed
Oh.
to
It's
know.
all Sweet Lou because but also she was the aggressor. He's usually like the one that's like sup,
Yeah.
but I don't know. It was like a weird thing where I felt like had all the power and he had none.
Yes. But there's a moment that's never talked about again, when Dustin sees Matt's sister in this outfit and then looks at Matt's skateboard. And then you could see that he's drawn this very sexualized version of his sister,
like an
on his
anime
skateboard.
version of his sister on his skateboard.
And Dustin makes a face, looks at Matt, looks at the sister, looks again at the skateboard, and then we don't talk about it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what are we supposed to infer from this? That Matt is psychologically fucked because he's sexualizing his sister? I don't know what this is supposed, like, what are we getting from this? And why was it like there was a reason to put this here, and I don't know why. Do you guys know why? Andrew, your face.
I truly don't, because it would make more sense that he drew it, but like that was like a professionally crafted skateboard that like he just bought it, and then all of a sudden his sister is exactly this. Like,
I think we're supposed to think that he drew it because think about them showing his skills of
oh yeah, you're right. Yeah,
on
doing
the van.
Yeah.
So
Oh, I
yes,
never
Matt
put that.
very much made that
That
of
makes
his
it worse.
sister.
That makes it worse.
Right.
Way
That
worse.
makes it so much worse.
That's
I
what I'm
was like,
saying. Like, why? What is this?
You'll never
I
know.
hate Matt. I hate
There you
Matt
go.
so much.
What did Dustin call him at the beginning of the movie, where I thought it was so bad, but now I understand. He referred to him as he's a stain. I'm like, oh, that's just, it's mean, but it's so
It's
accurate.
so true.
Oh,
So there is another scene in the parking lot before we go to the clown school where Jamie asked the guys when Eric is just had his existential crisis. But as soon as Jamie's like, hey, you guys want to go to Santa Monica? He's like, well, what's going on in Santa Monica? And she's like, oh, there's this tournament, whatever. And so now he's willing and ready to go with Jamie. And Matt makes a huge stink about it. We don't know her. We look at the last time we were dealing with girls bad, whatever. And then the guys are like, hey, she could have an SUV. She could have transportation. She can get us in. You don't even know her. And sure enough, she has the SUV. She leaves. By the way, Jamie doesn't stay away from the guys, even though they all smell like shit. She's still very nice. I don't know what's going on with Jamie. And she leaves. And that's when Matt is like, okay, let's go to the clowns.
Yes.
So now after seeing the parents and they're heading to Santa Monica and we get to the conference or tournament.
And Eric tries his same old shtick, going up, registering, gives his name, and now they're like, oh yeah, you're on the list right here. And he's like, what?
Which I don't understand. You guys have been at one after the other and you haven't tried to register ever.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, because you have to have a sponsor or know someone that's in the competition to get you registered.
Okay.
not to like back it up for a second. Like, I'm like thinking about this in my head, listening to you explain. I'm like, did they not know about this competition? But they're following the Jimmy tour, but they didn't know about this competition
I think
in Santa
they
Monica?
did.
Okay.
Eric was just defeated at this point and not
Okay.
gonna go.
Like,
Also,
No, he was like, what's in Santa Monica? We don't,
Oh.
he's like,
but I'm like, because Jimmy was going, so how did they not know?
yeah.
Right.
Also, what is the name of their fake sponsor?
Super Duper Skate Team.
it's like, what is
Pup and Suds
Pup-
all over
Yeah,
again.
Pup and Suds, yeah.
Even down to the yellow T-shirt that
Yes.
they used.
It was, yeah.
I bet it had to be some sort of inspiration.
Yeah.
You can't, a Brink generation to Brink to grind pipeline
Yes.
is not long.
I made the
100%.
connection. I've seen Brink once and I knew enough to be like, that looks very Pup and Suds coded. And Sweet Lou's van is a grooming van.
Right.
It all makes sense.
For multiple reasons.
Yeah.
Grooming girls.
Yes.
And a reference back to Brink.
So now we're in Santa Monica. What, Andrew?
I found it. It's not Super Duper Skate Team. It's Super Duper Skateboards is their sponsor.
Ah.
Got it.
So it's not the team name. It's
Sorry. Thank you for joining me on my tangent.
So it seems like Santa Monica is like this huge expo. It seems like more grand than the previous stops. And once again, we encounter the wannabe team.
It's so bad. Just to hear them talk.
Yeah, it's terrible. So Super Duper Skateboards compete. This is when I realized Lou actually skates and isn't just a pretty face. And then after that, they encounter the poser team, and they're like, we got beef to squash. Let's do a head-to-head competition on the vert. And then just a 5-minute too long skating, like they just
to skate off.
Yeah, a skate off, and they just kind of skate around each other and do like tricks I see at the local skate park. It feels.
But they also felt like they were they weren't. It was the best skating
in the movie.
Okay, if I was gonna rank the skating, the best skating was actually when Ryan Sheckler was skating in that what I call the zoo. Yeah.
The zoo.
The zoo. But then after that, it would probably be this scene because most of these sports movies, there's some sort of culmination and you're getting to some big thing, and we never work towards that.
No.
So the fact that these two just get on the vert,
that's what it was.
And just go back and forth without and nobody saying, "Hey, this is not for your little play thing,"
right?
And then everybody's watching it the same. I was confused.
Well, they were registered, so I guess they could just go on it.
I guess
so. I don't know.
What drove me crazy was when Eric was skating and the guy would like hit his skateboard when he was in the air. I'm like, there's people watching and nobody's like, hey, that's super dangerous. Don't do that.
I don't know. I don't know if that's something that can happen.
No.
No, because people get seriously hurt skating and BMX.
They were both doing that to each other.
I don't think Eric ever did it to him.
Eric did it once. I could have swore, but I could be wrong. I was just trying to get through it, girl. Fast forward.
So the league nose ring poser man does like a fancy trick, and then Eric's like, bet, and then does like this flip my skateboard, walk on it in air, and then still land.
I think it was like a 180. I don't know I don't think it was a full 360, but I do think it was something to that, some degree. Happened.
So
Andrew's Googling.
And then Jimmy,
I'll get to this.
recognizes game after that and is like, hey, cool. But that's kind of the end of it. And after that, they just go home. And so they show Eric working at his dad's store, and he's on break. So they're all at the skate park. And Jimmy's van just rolls up and is like, Jamie gets off and is like, hey guys, how's it go? Oh, and then, sorry, backing up to Santa Monica, Jamie and Eric make out a little bit. And then fast forward to, I think it said a year later, they show up at the skate park back in Chicago.
I thought it was this summer still.
It said 1 year later.
Oh, damn. I missed that. Fast forward.
And so Jamie hops off and Jimmy's like, hey, we saw your tape in our camera. And Jamie's like, let's go on tour. And they're just like, okay. And they all get on the bus. And I'm like, they don't have their things.
I'm sure they'll stop at the house.
I hope
That's
so, because
that's
Dustin, when Dustin was picked up straight from work, he said, I don't have my special pillow. And I'm like, Dustin needs his special pillow.
all I know is that Jason London was like not fully in it. It was like
Phoning
he
it
was
in.
reading. He was like reading right off.
Yeah.
He was like, I saw your tape and Jamie made me watch it and y'all want to go on tour?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it was very, I feel like he had like 4 lines in the entire
Yeah.
movie.
Did you find an answer, Andrew?
It was a combination of tricks.
Uh-huh.
We have varial flip behind the back to a grab with the spin at the end. It was a description, and then somebody else said, I always thought it was a nollie heel flip rodeo flip.
That sounds
So
fancy.
it was entertaining to watch for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But it wasn't like I agree with the critics, like seeing other skate competitions, it wasn't the most exciting for a movie at least,
Yeah.
you know. So, eh.
Well, that's grind. Oh, and then
Woo!
did you watch the bloopers
Girl, no.
where the child actor, the vomiting child, actually vomited while the stuff was like spraying on the side of his face? I don't know if it was from keeping his mouth open too long or if it grossed him out, but they showed him vomit and I was just like, what just happened here? And then I turned it off. And Less Than Jake plays at the end, and that was my favorite part of the movie.
It was the saving grace.
Yes.
Wait,
All worth it.
their song played?
Yeah.
You mean? Okay,
Yeah.
because I was like, there was a band performing during the end, and I
Oh,
don't
it
like
was
during the competition.
I didn't put it in the notes. It was some Norwegian Christian
Christian band.
band.
Interesting.
Yeah. Here, let me.
Okay.
There is a name. Hold
Wild
on, let me find
choice.
it.
Well, while you look that up, I'm gonna see if there's any more fun facts that we hadn't said so far. So the production featured real skate tour environments inspired by events like Vans Warped Tour and professional skate competitions. And our wonderful Chili and Such restaurant, that first scene when we're there, is a tribute to the 1982 film Fast Times at Ridgemont High. So we'll have to add Chili and Such to all of our wonderful fake restaurants in
Yep.
movies like Movies and Good Burger.
The pregnant woman who turns away the Super Duper Skate team, that's actually the director's wife, Casey Scala's wife.
Oh.
And
She looks so much like Sophia Bush.
Yes. So when I first thought it, I'm like, oh, wow, they got both these OC stars in here. And I'm like, dang, okay.
No, she was on One Tree Hill.
yeah.
Oh, One Tree. That's right.
And not only is she credited in the movie, but their child is credited. Baron Lascala is just credited as in utero.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I saw that credit and I'm like, I don't remember what that is. And now that it totally makes sense.
Mike Vogel performed some of his own skateboarding scenes during production. Also, what's his face? Vince Villaf. So in between scenes, because they were on such a small budget and they couldn't afford anyone getting hurt, they would take the skateboards away in between scenes so that they didn't like accidentally hurt themselves, like riding them. And Vince Villaf would like stash his skateboard so they couldn't take it away so he could like ride it in between scenes, which seems very on brand for him and or his character. Band playing at the festival is Blindside, a Christian rock band from Sweden.
I think. Okay, so all the main cast underwent skateboarding training prior to filming, which didn't matter because they were all using stunts.
Yeah.
I taught them the
Doubles.
ollie.
And that's it.
That was it.
And then on the DVD commentary, Adam Brody and Vince Villaf mentioned the friendly punching, shoving, and wrestling between the two of them is genuine, with Adam pointing out that his facial expressions when being punched by Vince in the background of some scenes is him in real pain because he hit him too hard.
Because he was fucking 33 years old.
Beating up a kid.
And the film includes appearances, like we said, from about the real skaters, the real skate brands and industry figures were also there to reflect the authentic skate culture. I wanted to Google like most of the brands to see if some of them were still existent or not.
Well, the hat that Ryan Sheckler is wearing was a famous Stars and Straps hat. That's Travis Barker's clothing line. I know Enties was Etnies. Yeah, that is a real line.
Yep. Independent was in there. They wore shirts. That's like a skateboard truck brand. The truck's on it.
Okay.
Yeah. Most of what I saw, they are absolutely
legit.
real brands.
Well, if you have any thoughts, questions, answers, hit us up at No More Late Fees on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, and Threads. And we're gonna hit you guys up with these present day ratings. Andrew, we'll start with you. Now that you've rewatched the movie, how do you feel it ranks?
It's a same day rental. I struggled to stay awake towards the very end of it. I'm like, this did not hold up at all to what I remember.
And to think that I think right now, I don't know if they're in talks or if it's been greenlit, that they're going to make a grind too.
No.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, Jackie, what's your rating?
Same day. I will not be watching this movie again.
I surprisingly, when I watched this for the first time, I thought like this is horrible, but do I think I'm gonna rewatch it again? I may. I may rewatch it.
You fast forwarded the first time, Danielle.
This was the rewatch?
Yes. Same day. I'm just kidding. Same day. I just hate being so damn, what's the word?
Honest?
No, not that, where you can predict what I'm gonna say.
Predictable?
That's it.
Fair.
Okay, so the sequel to this movie is officially in early development, with the original creator returning to write and direct. The new film will feature original cast members and follow the team years later, exploring the fallout of the Jimmy Wilson tour. Production is moving forward as a fan-driven project. So the internet says.
I just read the first comment on this says, is Jimmy going to be off the hook again?
The hook.
Well, if you have any commentary to add about the movie Grind, hit us up at our quick drop 909-601-6653, and you could be featured on a future episode.
And join us next week as we trade our skateboards for dance floors with Save the Last Dance, where every move could change everything. Stretch now because this one's gonna hurt tomorrow.
Andrew, thank you for this last minute agreement to what, so we can just shatter your illusion that Grind was a great movie.
Thank you for keeping up your soul contract because we own you now.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And as always, be kind and rewind.